What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Chaos Theory podcast. I am Ivan, aka Kinetik. Man, it's been a long while. I'm sorry for the delay, guys. Obviously, life happens, and we've both been kind of busy. But we have a great episode coming your way and a lot of great content. But I'll have Ken with a special announcement. So go ahead, Ken.
What is up, guys? Hey, guys. Ivan, it's been 7 months since our last episode of the Chaos Theory podcast. And, you know, this is the part where I normally say it's been a while. But that goes without saying, man. It's been a minute since we've hopped on the mics and chopped it up with some Marvel 2 or just the FGC in general. Life happens, man. Like you said, I needed to take time to kind of reset, recharge the batteries a little bit. Stuff happens, and you kind of have to put priorities elsewhere for the time being.
Yeah, of course.
So I had to put the game on hold, man. I stopped with. You guys may have noticed I stopped with the YouTube content, the Twitch. Everything just kind of I had to press pause, bro.
Yeah.
The collection was released right around the same time that I decided to take a little hiatus, and I feel like it was good timing because. Not that it was released on a newer, well, I mean, PS4 isn't exactly a new platform, right?
Yeah.
But it became more accessible to everybody. Everybody who didn't have access to a Dreamcast or a DC HDMI or
we're not playing on PC either.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
It was a very strange transition, in my opinion. We were used to, you know, playing on Dreamcast, and then you had the people playing online on PS3. Some people were playing on Xbox Live, and then you had a group of people that were playing on PC, like Fightcade.
Yep.
Yeah, Null DC also.
Right. That's right.
And then it all just changed, bro. Everybody moved over to the two new platforms, which is PS4, or if you get the game on PS5, it's still considered a PS4 native game.
Oh, okay. So it does that.
Yeah, and then it became available on PC.
Correct.
Which is under the Steam
on Steam accounts
platform.
Yes. Yep.
So now those are the two, and then later on it was released on the Xbox platform. So now you can get it there.
Yeah, very recently actually. Yeah. So Xbox kind of came last.
Right. So this collection that came out, guys, in case you've been living under a goddamn rock, the collection was released, and it's a compilation of all of the versus fighting games that came out over the years: X-Men versus Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter, Marvel versus Capcom 1, 2, and with a variety of different extras. You have like art galleries, music, a bunch of little knickknacks to kind of keep you busy. The net play, it's still not perfect, right?
Yeah.
I guess we can't expect it to be perfect, but there are some things that could be tweaked to make it a better experience. You can kind of see it gives you I guess a color-coded little icon next to the person's name when you start playing.
Yes,
and
almost like a ping meter.
Yeah, and it'll let you know how
good or stable the connection is between the two. Yeah.
What we need to see is what that looks like before you accept the match. And I don't know if there's a way that they can incorporate that. Maybe they can. But sometimes you'll get matched up with somebody who has, and both of you have a horrible connection. And you won't know until you actually start the match. So it kind of takes time.
Interesting.
You know, it'll consume a few minutes when you can just avoid that match altogether.
Yeah.
By knowing from the get go, this guy has a
right. So I think an example with that would be maybe back in like Street Fighter 4, you had like a little ping meter when you would see when the person would enter your lobby and there would be a connection.
Yeah, it would show.
Status. Yeah, it would show you like, hey, this guy has a bad connection. I probably shouldn't take this match.
Yeah, exactly. Similar to like the 3G, 4G, like on our cell phones. You
Correct.
know, the bars, how many bars you have.
Yeah.
So it's not new technology.
Right.
If they were to incorporate that with the collection, I think it would be a lot better. But it was it still is. It's a change that we're going through because this version of Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is the arcade port.
Correct.
And we've talked about it plenty of times that there are differences between the arcade and Dreamcast.
Yes.
You know, with the Dreamcast, you deal with a lot of slower animations at times.
Correct.
Because the system is so old and it has trouble processing.
It bottlenecks at certain points.
Yeah.
Yes.
And with the PS4, Steam, Xbox, because they're using the arcade port on this hardware, you don't see that anymore.
Yeah.
So now the timing on on certain sequences is going to be a little different.
Yeah.
And I think that's good. It's going to take some time for us to adjust, but I think when we get there,
it would be great for everyone involved.
Yeah, exactly. And people are already starting to compare the different versions, like Xbox, PS4, Steam. I think the general consensus right now is that Steam is the most optimal version.
That's good.
And I think the primary reason is because, number one, there isn't as much pressure for your setup, I guess you could say, because on PS4, Xbox, the monitor that you're using matters. Obviously, like in any other game, right?
Okay, yeah.
Because of the refresh rate and all that.
Yeah, you have an input delay.
Right. It's also the motherboard that you're using, the stick. We're back to square one with Dreamcast. You know, certain motherboards had native input delay, so you'd press punch and it would come out, you know, a split second later as
Correct.
opposed to instantly.
Yeah.
And for high level players, you can
exactly right.
You can tell the difference. But if an
Absolutely.
MSP is on your ass
Yes.
and you're trying to push block and then counter, you need that instant
feedback.
The feedback, instant gratification, if you will. And so that's one of the main concerns right now, is because as we move into this new age of tournaments, Evolution coming up, Fight Kingdom, Combo Breaker, Defend the North, whatever it is, we want to, or I'd like to see a general, I guess, template for what we should be using at these tournaments. What types of monitors, which system we're going to be playing on.
Right.
And yeah, that's going to be like the bare minimum.
Have we gathered any kind of evidence towards like what sticks or setups are most beneficial for players right now?
Well, in my opinion, from what I understand, and I've asked around a little bit,
Okay.
The best PCB that you can use at the moment is the Brooks Universal Fighting Board,
Okay.
which it's not a new PCB by
It's
any
not.
means.
But I'm surprised by the answer.
Yeah, but it's a very cost-effective piece of equipment. It's not expensive. You can purchase it online, and it does everything for you. It works on PS4. It also works on PS5.
That's great.
And now I have to specify, it's for the collection because it is a PS4 game on the PS5. That doesn't mean that you can play, you know, Street Fighter 6 or any other PS5 exclusive game on there using this PCB. No, it doesn't work that way.
Gotcha.
Now with PS4 and PS5, the PCB does make a difference as well as the monitor, right? But PS4 already has built-in input delay.
Yes.
So you might feel like you're playing a bit underwater. And that's how I felt when I first compared PS3 versus Xbox Live. Whereas PS3, it felt a little bit slower.
Yes.
And Xbox Live, everything was crispy.
It was it's much more snappier on Xbox.
Yeah,
from what
exactly.
I remember feeling that.
I
as
feel
well.
like that was a general consensus, but you know, everything is subjective to how you feel about it. But whatever. For now, it seems that Steam is the most favorable option. But because it's Evo, because it's, you know, as far as tournaments go, what's easier to obtain, and that's the PS4s. They're easier to come by. It's easier to just provide those as opposed to a bunch of mini PCs.
Yeah.
You know, for these tournaments.
Yeah.
Now, switching from the Dreamcast to the PS4, here comes another problem, right? If you're one of those purists who have only had, like me, the Green Goblin, right? I have like 3 Green Goblins. It's
They're really
tough,
nice, actually.
and my setup is so nice.
It's dialed in.
Yeah,
It really is, man.
it feels amazing. The spring, the gate, the buttons, everything is just fused into just this diabolical weapon of destruction. And now trying to copy that setup onto a newer stick for the PS4, it doesn't feel the same. I've taken my layout and I've put it into a new stick for the PS4 and for Steam, and it doesn't feel the same. And I don't know what it is. I'm using the same spring, the same gate, the same buttons. Like, it's almost like I haven't really broken it in yet completely, like I have.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the PCB. I don't know. But
That's the only thing I can attribute it to.
yeah, because on Dreamcast, I can hit my reflies perfectly.
Of course.
On PS4 and Steam, I can still do them, but it's not as consistent.
Yeah.
And I might attribute that to the port.
Yeah.
Because it's the arcade version, I feel like I have to take my time a little bit more with Sentinel and not do the inputs as fast so that they can come out.
Yeah.
But that's, I mean, to me, it's kind of annoying because you're used to the muscle memory.
Yeah.
That you've built, that we've built for like 20 years, right?
It's a long time of muscle memory, bro.
What the fuck is this?
So you can feel the nuances, like whenever, you go from system to system. It may not seem like a lot to, many of the viewers as well. But again, at the highest levels of play, we feel every frame.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's one of the cons, I think. Yeah. If we were to do a pros and cons list, what do you think would be the biggest pro from switching over to PS4? Because as a preface, remember, before the collection came out, we were having this like DC Renaissance movement with the DC HDMI, with the rematch mod. Remember, we were, dude, shout outs to PAX and to TV Industries and all the guys that were working on really picking this game apart. And
great work from them, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And giving us the rematch mod and giving us, Marvel 2.5, I guess you could say. And I feel like all of that came to a screeching halt once the collection came out. It was kind of like,
the timing was just...
So now everybody is moving over to PS4. And I thought there was going to be more pushback. I thought, well, we still... I think we still agree that Dreamcast is the best format. But no, man. Everybody now is switching over to the PS4. So if you don't have a stick that's PS4 compatible, it's kind of like you're out of luck.
You're shit out of luck.
You have to start investing into a new setup because the PS4 incorporates all kinds of things. It incorporates the 8-button layout. It incorporates touchpad button, the home button. Like, these are all things that just by you plugging in an adapter, it's not gonna suffice.
Sorry for this stupid question, but is the touchpad actually mappable?
Yeah, it is.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it is. So on my stick, the touchpad is a button.
What is it?
Yeah, it's on the front.
I know, but like side. I understand like where it is, because I play a lot on PS4. Mm-hmm. I meant, what would you map it to? I'm sorry. That's, I guess, the question.
It's
like, why would you even map it?
Well, you can't map it manually, but it is plugged into the PCB.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's going to lead us into a very important story that I have for you guys later on in the episode, which you guys are going to fucking sink your teeth into.
It's going to be juicy, man.
But the biggest pro, right? That's what I was going to ask you. What do you think the biggest pro is from switching from DC to PS4?
I would say accessibility. There's a huge install base for PS4. And this is a pretty well-known statistic, but about 50% of the players that were on PS4 never migrated to PS5. They are still on PS4 to this day, including myself.
Yeah, same here.
So one of the biggest things is just having it accessible to a much wider audience. As if the game, again, it's already very popular, but yeah, to definitely have it accessible to more people it's a big thing.
Well, for the price point, I mean, you can get a PS4 relatively cheap nowadays.
Oh yeah,
which is amazing. Not a lot of people are looking to fork over, $400, $500 for a PS5, myself included. I mean, I don't play next gen that much to justify dropping $500. Now, if it's a pair of Jordans, that I can justify. Days. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but PS5 for me, there wasn't much there. It honestly felt like PS4.5 to me. On top of that, like, I just think we're already more than halfway into the PS5 cycle. I think PS6 is going to release in 2027, but I digress. Again, I think the install base on PS4 is just a large audience there, so it's hard to like not tap into that.
Dude, it's kind of a tough pill to swallow that the PS5 is on its 5th year.
That's right.
Of its lifespan.
That's right.
That's crazy, man.
And I feel like they haven't released anything.
No, they haven't. A lot of the games have just been upgraded to PS5
just been remasters.
Quality. Yeah, remasters.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah.
With the exception of like maybe one or two games, but
Now here's the thing, and you guys listening, you can sound off in the comments and let me know. But what I'm hearing is that the PS5 version of the collection has more input delay than the PS4 version because it's not a PS5 game. It's a PS4. Yeah.
PS5, yeah.
So that's another aspect to take into consideration, right?
Right.
Here's the con regarding that, because you mentioned that it's about the accessibility. Okay, we're gonna get into Fight Kingdom this year, but at Fight Kingdom, there was an issue with some of these PS4s because remember how many different versions there are. There's the PS4 Slim, the original model,
Correct.
the Pro,
Correct.
right? So some of these guys were unable to use their sticks depending on the PS4 that was being used because their PCB wasn't being recognized by some of the models.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
And that
it would not be recognized universally across every platform.
Exactly.
PS4.
For whatever reason, and I can say this because it happened to Josh 360, I don't know why that happened, but it is a possible situation that may come up this year at EVO or at any other tournament. Because what Josh had to do was he had to kind of tinker with it, or he had to wait for another setup to open up that he knew his stick would work on. So that just eats up time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a bummer, man.
So I feel like no matter what platform we use, Dreamcast, PS4, there's always going to be hardware issues. And I wish that wasn't the case. Now, what I do know where we won't encounter hardware issues, and that's on PC. Steam.
Yeah.
There we wouldn't encounter any of these issues. That's why I said that with Steam, you have less obstacles, less hurdles to go through to get the experience that you're looking for.
Right.
I think because it's still relatively new, I think as time goes on, tournament organizers, they're going to get better at it, you know? Just like with anything else, we have to kind of put it into practice.
Yeah, you got to adapt to it.
Yeah, and then we'll go from there. Going back to the hiatus, guys. So I took a hiatus back in November or so. When the collection was released, bro, everybody who had a capture card was streaming the collection. You had a bunch of the Titan streamers like Justin Wong, who else? Team Spooky.
Spooky made a return, yeah.
A bunch of the main channels were streaming the collection. Maximilian was on there.
Yep.
You know, and I felt like there was a huge oversaturated amount of Marvel 2 content that was being pumped out, and I didn't want to get lost in the mix.
Yeah.
I felt like if I wasn't streaming or if I wasn't putting out content that nobody's really going to miss it because you have so much to watch already. Not just on YouTube, but on Twitch.
Yes.
Like Jay Wong was streaming, refunds. You guys want some refunds,
yeah.
Huh?
Putting the phone in refunds.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That thing caught fire, man.
It did, yeah. And it's still happening.
Yeah.
With the other collection that was just released.
Yeah.
So I figured, you know what, dude, let's pump the brakes on it. I didn't want it to start feeling like work. And that I love doing this. I love doing the podcast. I love talking to you guys. I love sharing the stories and all of this. I just don't want it to get to a point where it starts to feel like work. Because when it starts to feel like that, then it no longer becomes a passion. And you can see content creators who no longer have a passion for what they're doing. It's just kind of like, I got to hit my quota, man. I got to hit my threshold so I can get that check at the end of the month. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's kind of a disservice to like what the main goal is. And that's to make a difference and kind of contribute. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So as long as I'm not in that mindset, you guys will be good. I'll always be back to give something to the community.
I'll keep them in check, guys. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah. So we talked about the PCB issues that Josh had at Fight Kingdom, okay? Now, well, I got to put that on the back burner. There was a few events that happened, because I know you were out of the loop also.
Yeah, I was.
TNS had an invitational tournament that I was a part of. Dude, I was like on a complete downward spiral, like competition-wise. Yeah. I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling good as a competitor. I lost Fight Kingdom last year to Pasadena.
Correct.
I lost, what else? I lost like 2 online tournaments where, or like one tournament I got 8th, I think. And then another tournament, I got second. I think I participated in mixtapes against Pasadena, and he got me again. So there was a period of time where I felt like, damn, dude, because my heart's not in it, I'm not performing at my best. It's just kind of like, it's exhausting, dude. When you do this for so long and you play for so long, there's an expectation that you're going to be the favorite to win, right? And that's
almost every time. And it's a lot of pressure, man.
That's a lot of pressure, bro.
All the time, though. Like,
so I started going into these tournaments like, whatever happens, you know? That's how I went into Fight Kingdom last year. That was my mentality going into these tournaments. And then Fight Kingdom 2025 was coming up. And that was the moment where I really thought to myself, like, I feel like I've been here before, right?
Yeah.
I always feel like I'm at a crossroads in terms of how I feel about the game. I love doing the podcast. I love doing content creation. As a competitor, I feel like I've done it all. And I kind of sound like a broken record. And I don't want to sound that way.
Yeah.
But going into Fight Kingdom, it is an investment. Like you're forking over money for hotel, for airfare, the tournament itself, you know, and these fees are starting to accrue.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, everything is getting more expensive. I mean, on that note, have you seen how much it costs to enter Evo?
No, but I know last time I checked, it had skyrocketed significantly.
Bro, it's like $250
to even
I think.
In, man. Back then when we used to have like a spectator pass at like $20.
Yeah.
You know, dude, it's getting exorbitant. But back on the note for Fight Kingdom, what was kind of like your mindset going into this one? Because I know, like you said, you were just kind of okay with how things were going to play out last year. But did you feel like maybe you had a little more to prove this time around, or was it just, you know, again of like, you know, I'm in a better place, but I whatever happens again, or how did you feel about it?
I felt like there was the pressure was still there.
Okay.
But because I had taken such a hiatus,
Like a break?
Yeah, I took a break, and I wasn't playing as much. I started to play. You know, I would play sporadically here and there, just enough to keep my execution, I guess, somewhat in shape. But I was more excited for the low tier tournament because Fight Kingdom had a low tier tournament, and I thought, man, this is refreshing. Like, this is something different, and I think that's where the money's at for the newcomers. Because by eliminating the higher tier characters, you kind of level the playing field a little
absolutely.
bit. Because we had people who were in the bracket that were doing some real damage for the low tier tournament. Just so you guys can go over the results. For top 8, we had X-Prom, J-Tron, Magnetro, J360, Chris King, Roundhouse. Jake from State Farm got 3rd place.
Wow.
Jake, yeah. Dude, a lot of these guys had some secret weapons.
Yeah, like secret tech that they kind of just had in their back pocket for like...
Jake was using the Mummy. Pax was using Guile, of course. Roundhouse was using...
Juggernaut,
right? Yeah. Except he couldn't use the glitch, which
he could not use the glitch?
He couldn't use the glitch. The Juggernaut glitch was banned.
Okay, what do you think about that? What are your thoughts on that? I feel like it's always been in the game. Why
has
are we
always
banning it?
That's just what the rules state.
Does it mean that we banned Tron too, or no?
The Tron projectile assist is banned.
Oh, it is banned.
Yes, banned. Psylocke.
For all you scrubs out there.
Psylocke was playable, but Psylocke anti-air assist was banned.
Interesting.
Commando was playable. Anti-air assist was banned.
Cyclops
was banned altogether.
Altogether. Wow.
Dr. Doom was banned. Dawson was banned. War Machine, Blackheart, you know, like the Dr. Doom, obviously.
Right.
So you had a bunch of people who were using... I thought we were going to see a spam of like Cammy, Jill, Guile, you know, stuff like that.
I thought for sure Guile.
So everybody was asking me, what team are you going to pick? And I thought, damn, dude.
What, you gonna bring out the Shuma?
I'm like, damn, what am I gonna pick here? I decided on Shuma, projectile assist,
Yes, sir.
Spider-Man anti-air, and then Akuma Tatsu.
The crowd favorite, bro.
Dude, this team took me to the grand finals against VDO of all people,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
Of course it was going to be VDO.
Yes.
But man, dude, this team like has no health. Yeah. Especially against a team like VDO's who
that's heavy hitters.
Who is favorable in the exchange, you know?
Absolutely.
When you trade hits.
Yeah, you cannot trade with him in there because you don't have the health to do it.
So I thought, god damn, what am I going to do here? Dude, I had to hit VDO with like level 3s, with infinites that these low tier characters aren't supposed to have, right?
Yeah.
But I managed to send VDO to losers in winners finals, like by the skin of my teeth.
Incredible.
And I thought, oh my god, VDO of course makes it back to grand finals, and because he's so tactical, he
made adjustments.
He made adjustments, bro.
Yep.
There was this one match where I could have turned it in my I was losing, and I could have turned the match in my favor.
Yeah, there was
by activating Shuma level 3.
Yeah.
Against his Colossus.
Yeah.
So I activate the level 3, right? And as soon as he sees me do that, he activates super armor with Colossus, so I can't grab him.
I've actually never. I was gonna wonder like what is the interactions like now that both of you guys have something. Does the over 3 does not override the super armor?
It doesn't override it, so he was safe. I'm like,
so
you
smart.
I'm like, you son of a bitch, man. I'm like, you're so lucky I can't pick Settle.
Yeah,
You're fucking lucky. But, you know, it's stuff like that. Like, you actually have to... I mean, not to say that high-tier gameplay doesn't require skill, right?
Right.
But there is a lot of muscle memory involved.
Correct.
There is a lot of muscle memory. And if you can recognize, okay, I made contact, I connected... Here's the sequence. It's like playing the piano. You already have a sequence laid out with high tier. Yeah. With low tier, you don't have these long sequences. So everything is fundamentals.
Yes. I will say, though, that, you know, for the people there's a lot of people that always hate on, like, top tiers. But, like, listen, the stakes are much, much higher in like, top tier.
Oh, absolutely.
You get touched, you might be dead completely, right? You get a lot more leeway and a lot more chances to live in the low tier format. Yeah,
absolutely. And that's what was refreshing to me about it is because you didn't know. I mean, VDO was the odd-on favorite, right? Because of his team, he knows it so well. Yeah. But you outside of that, like I didn't expect to get to grand finals. I mean,
let alone put VDO in losers.
Yeah, and so I was, even though I got second place, I was really, that made my whole weekend is getting second place in the low tier tournament. There was 40 entrants for low tier, which was amazing on its own because, like I said, it's more of an even playing field in my opinion. Yeah. I think if we had these tournaments, if time allowed for it, I think that we would get more attention that way.
I think so too. And you know, funny you should mention it because, you know, shout outs to VDO and congrats to him for winning. I think in a way, I'm thinking from an audience perspective of how by VDO beating you, first of all, you sent him to losers. Him coming back and, you know, rematching you for grand finals and then ultimately beating you. I think from an audience perspective, it made it much more interesting because they like to see the underdog win. And they always think like, oh, you know, Khaos, you know, usually always wins anyway. Bro, I'm so glad he lost this one. Like
I was the underdog in this low tier tournament. God damn it!
But they don't see it that way. You understand?
Yeah, bro. My team, and this happens a lot, right? Like if you play somebody, I hate it when I hear like when I'll beat somebody like 10-0 or 10-1, and they'll be like, "Yeah, you beat me 10-0, but those matches were pretty close." Or I killed 2 of your characters each match. So. Did you really, you know, like there's always some
like
kind
of little moral victory that they want to have. Yeah, it's annoying.
Well, you know what? I'm going to do that this time, okay? Because my team had paper health against fucking VDO's high health, high damage team. I had to pull out all the stops, dude. If I was even going to have a chance at winning.
Right.
VDO did reset the bracket, and then it came down to the very last game, dude.
like I said, great content for the audience. They were on their seats.
It was, man. The chat was eating it up.
Yeah.
Everybody was going crazy during the matches. It was just a great experience. And Video, I love Video. That's my boy, and it was great it was an honor to share that grand
Absolutely.
finals stage with him. Shout outs to Video. It was a well-deserved win. And then we move on to the main tournament. Now, we had a total of 70, I think it was like 77 entrants.
That's crazy.
Which is amazing, bro. Now, Fight Kingdom, guys, there are a lot of tournaments out there that have Marvel versus Capcom 2, okay? Fight Kingdom is the premier tournament for Marvel 2.
100% agree on that.
If you want to test yourself against the best, this is the tournament to do it. And I mean, we know that Evo is going to be big this year, right?
Yes.
It may be a one-off. We'll see. Next year, they'll probably give the spotlight to, I don't know, Third Strike I'm sorry. Next year, they'll probably give the spotlight to CVS 2, right?
Oh, yeah. I can see that.
So even though this year's tournament is going to have a lot of entrants, it is going to have the spotlight. It's going to be a one-off, in my opinion. If you want to go to a tournament to really test yourself against the best in an environment that has that retro tournament feel, that's devoted to the players, that cares about the community, Fight Kingdom is where it's at.
Yep.
That's where you want to be. Shout outs to Preppy for all of the help in running it. It's a great experience, guys. It's a great area, great food, great times. That's where you want to go. And you can quote me on that.
Yeah. And one other thing I wanted to ask, Ken, was what was your experience like? What did you feel was maybe better or not as good this year for Fight Kingdom in relation to last year? Because unfortunately, I couldn't make it out this year.
Well, for this year, remember, it's the first time that we used the PS4 platform. So there were a lot of hiccups, a lot of technical difficulties. Some of the monitors weren't as responsive, from what I heard. Some of the PS4s weren't recognizing certain players' PCBs, as I mentioned.
Yes.
So just a few technical difficulties here and there. For as far as the streaming goes, Lazy Reaper, shout outs to him and his team for putting on the stream for everybody. I think they ran into like a Wi-Fi issue where they couldn't stream.
Yeah.
Day one, there was an outage, so all he could do was record. And that's unfortunate, because we had a lot of hype moments that weren't captured on stream, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So those were like the mishaps. Everything else was positive. It was in a great venue. The restaurants around there were amazing. If you wanted, traditional American breakfast, if you wanted Thai food, coffee, whatever you wanted, it was there. And it was amazing. A lot of great people. There was no drama. There was no like bad blood or anything like that. Everybody was having a great time. Everyone was competitive. And it's a great time to bond with other members of the community. That's what I'm really grateful for. I was fortunate enough to shack up with like Josh 360, Madro, Jay Fresh, and we were able to really kind of bond and chop it up, and I'll always be grateful for that.
Yeah.
Because conversation is great, dude.
Yeah. Those are the moments that you never forget, man. And it's hard to put like something on like that on paper because you go to the tourney, but it's these smaller moments that you get to experience where you really just, like you said, bond with another player in a way that you just don't have time to, because let's say maybe you're in different areas, but you guys all kind of come together collectively and just form like, just a great experience for everybody.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I know I'm going to 3-0 you tomorrow, but do you want to go grab some pancakes, huh? Huh?
Oh my God.
And dude, you know me, man. I'm always saying, stupid shit like that.
Yeah.
So the main tournament is underway, right? It was a 2-day thing. We started Saturday, and then top 8 was on Sunday. So day 1, your boy gets. Well,
let's announce top 8. Yeah.
Top 8 for It
For
was. Let's see here. Tied for 9th. It was Madro, Kodiak, Neo, Lazy Reaper, which was surprising. I was expecting him to place higher. VDO, Dentist, Smooth Viper, Lockdown, J360, Roundhouse, Pasadena, and then your boy, gets first place.
Yeah.
CM Chaos. So day one, right? It's always a little shaky. Day one.
Yeah.
Because you're kind of like, all right, it's time to perform.
Time to lock in.
And let's see how we do. 4 different pools. They were all being ran very efficiently, I might add. Everything was just boom. Hey, I need you on deck. Hey, you grab him. Don't go anywhere. Like everything was just one fluid tournament, as it should be, right?
Yes.
And
that's what we want to see. Man.
That's what I want to see, bro.
Yeah.
And I still want to perfect that aspect of the scene as a TO. That's one avenue that I've never explored before, and I think that's going to be next on the list. But you saw certain matches play out. Remember, it's 77 people, so you have a bunch of matches to play through. But we started getting into some of the more exciting matches. Now, Thrilla, my boy Math, shows up, but he couldn't stay for the entire tournament because he had other obligations
of course.
to fulfill. But he managed to get a couple matches in. Now, he ended up matching up against Roundhouse. And you guys know that these two guys, right? they don't, it's like oil and water. They don't mix.
Yeah.
But they faced off, and it's 2 out of 3, dude.
Yes, yeah, man.
And you know how I feel about
watching.
2 out of 3, bro. Yeah.
This was brutal watching, man. Because 2 out of 3s just leave like no room for error. Like, and sometimes one game can be a wash too, and then it's just over. That's it. Like you're sent to losers, or you're just flat out eliminated.
Dude, that hurts so much to hear, and then it's over.
It's just over.
Like some of these matches are done in seconds.
Yes.
So you're left with just.
I was watching some of Dina's matches, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh no, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Yeah, we'll get to that. So Roundhouse gets the best of Math. He beats him 3-2. Sends Math to losers. Math is not having it. He's kind of like, oh, this is nobody wants to lose to Roundhouse in that style, right?
Yeah.
But it is what it is. And then Math loses to Tree Fitty. But by then, I think Math was already kind of checked out. Like, I mean, even if I did make it to top 8, I'd give up my spot anyway.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be able to even compete.
It doesn't really matter.
It's unfortunate.
But it's a long ride home, dude. And from speaking from experience, like when you travel and you take an L and you know that it was a quick set, you didn't really get a chance to play or whatever the case is.
Yeah, it just feels like it was like the rug was pulled from right under you.
Like, what am I doing with my life, man? So that was one. Everybody was just kind of tense and seeing what was going to happen, right?
Yeah, it's very volatile.
Here's the moment of the tournament, in my opinion.
Give it to me.
Okay. Neo is in the tournament. Now, Neo gives 0 fucks about like having his own stick. He doesn't care to have his own equipment. He'll usually just borrow somebody's stick if he needs it. He asks Lockdown to borrow his stick.
Okay.
Now, Lockdown has a traditional Moss setup.
Yes, he does.
Okay.
Shout out to Lock.
With the yellow button on the upper right-hand corner. Okay.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing about PS4. Is that you can map so that the start and select buttons don't do anything.
Okay.
To prevent accidental pauses.
Okay.
They thought about that. They thought about that in advance to program that in there. Okay. So that, just so you guys know, all of my listeners, okay, in a tournament setting, if the rules state that a pause, whether it's accidental or intentional, if it occurs, then the person who committed that action loses that match.
Yes.
It's an instant loss.
Yes.
And the win goes to the other person, naturally, right?
Yep.
Neo is playing Smooth Viper. And the score is 1-0 in Neo's favor.
Okay.
And Neo, for some reason, while doing Hailstorm, is mashing the buttons for additional hits, and he accidentally touches the home button. Okay?
Oh, my gosh.
Let that sink in for a second. He accidentally hits the home button. Now, you can program the start and select button not to do any actions or anything like that.
Right.
But you cannot do that with the home button.
Right.
You have to be able to hit home on the PS4 if you need to.
Yes.
It's just not possible to deactivate it.
Right.
Unless you unplug that switch altogether ahead of time.
Correct.
Right? So immediately Smooth Viper jumps up and he says, I'm taking that win. Roundhouse is sitting right there in front of me. Points to Roundhouse and he says, Roundhouse did it to me, so I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Everybody's going nuts, bro. Everybody's going nuts. And Neo immediately starts to state his case, saying, you are not a man. Didn't you say that Roundhouse wasn't a man for doing that to you?
Oh, Neo clapped
Now, for context purposes, just so you guys know, Roundhouse and Smooth Viper had a 1st to 10 money match at Evolution. I think it was last year. It might have been last year or the year before. They did a 1st to 10. The score was 9-9.
Yeah. Went down the
And
line.
Smooth Viper was about to win with a finishing hit on Roundhouse's Iron Man.
This is I'm sorry to interrupt. This is the second time that they've done a first time because they did one a few years ago.
They did, yeah. They did.
That's what
But this is remember, this isn't a tournament setting. This is in the Salty Suite.
Yes.
Right?
Of course. Okay.
Smooth Viper, when he does the rocket punch on Roundhouse's Iron Man, he slams the stick. Like, done. He resets the game before the match is over. He resets the game, and Roundhouse is like, oh, you reset the game. I'm taking that win. Even though he had already lost.
Yeah.
So what did this do, right? For timeline purposes. So Roundhouse takes the win, even though he had lost, right? So he wins on a technicality. He has no problem with it. Whatever. However you feel about it, outside of what the rules state is irrelevant.
Yep.
He won. Okay. Now, Evolution 2023, when Krizzle beat Jin in tournament.
Yep. I remember this.
And Jin was about to win, and he accidentally presses pause. Krizzle takes the win.
And also wins Evo.
And also wins Evolution that
Yeah.
way. How you feel about it is irrelevant, right?
Yeah.
People are saying that he's not a real champion, that Jin should have spoken up, or I don't know. It's a lot of back and forth, a lot of back and forth banter.
Yeah.
But these are the things that can happen in a tournament. So it kind of leaves a sour taste in your mouth, right?
Yeah, of course.
So Neo, being the guy that he is, right? He's very articulate and he knows how to convey his message, whatever it is.
Absolutely.
He's great. This is, as he says, this is his realm. Immediately starts to state his case for Preppy to override the rule. And Preppy's like, I can't. This was like a full 5 to 10 minute conversation that put the entire tournament on hold.
Yeah.
So what happened at Evo last year at a Street Fighter 6 tournament, I believe, it was Mena RD. You know who that is, right?
Yeah, of course.
Mena RD versus some other opponent. I don't know who it is. Somebody hit pause, and instead of taking the win, or instead of giving the win to the other person, the TO asked the two individuals, do you want to take the win or do you want to run it back? And they agreed to run it back.
Yeah.
So because that happened, Neo said, look, this is what happened here in this scenario. That means that you as a TO have the authority
Yes.
to override that and let us play it. So he's put Preppy in a very, very tough spot, right?
Yeah,
Not in his eyes, but Preppy's in a tough spot.
Yeah.
Because you have to think about the ramifications of this decision. If he decides to override that, then what does that mean for any other time that it happens? Does the exception become the rule?
Yeah, we're getting into gray area now.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that would lead to the rule being changed altogether. That if somebody presses pause, it's to the player's discretion.
Now,
would that
players
be,
have to agree? No.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, not necessarily.
How so?
Because if you and I are having a match and If the rule is, it's to the player's discretion. So if you and I are having a match, and I press pause accidentally,
Okay.
and then I say, "Hey, that was an accident. Let's are you okay if we just do you want to start the match over? Do you want to?"
And I say no. I'm taking the win. Then
So I think the reasoning is there's a lot of variables here. So you could say no, I'm going to take the win.
Okay.
Or if you want to grant mercy, you can say, okay, let's play from here on out, because maybe you were already going to win.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So in terms of like, how do we?
So what if I press pause?
Yeah.
But I have the life lead.
That's what I meant. Like, so I guess.
So if you say, okay, let's keep playing, but you know what? Let's start the match over. We'll just start it over.
Yeah. So there's different decisions being made there. Where are we going back to the same health, in the same moment, which is very hard, or are we starting like literally from scratch, from the very beginning with full health? That's a completely different story.
Bro, these are all different scenarios that can happen in real time. Mind you, the clock is ticking. This tournament has to keep going.
Yeah.
This is why some tournaments take a shitload of time to run because of these scenarios. No, that's not what we agreed to. All this back and forth. So the rule is set in place to just kind of make it easy and nip it in the bud. You press start, you take the L, we move on.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Neo is citing this one incident,
right,
where he said, "Look, it's EVO, a tournament that is much bigger than Fight Kingdom. Undeniable, you can't deny that.
Yeah,
it's true,
of course.
So if a TO there can override it, what makes you think that you can't do it here?" No, he didn't say it like that. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah,
but that was the message that he was giving to Preppy, and Preppy was saying, "Look, I don't know what these guys did. I don't know why they did that, but the rules clearly state," and he had it pulled up. Look, the rules state here in black and white that if you press pause, the win goes to the other person.
Yeah.
So eventually Neo accepted it. Smooth Viper walks over. He walks over, and he's walking over like, just like, "Look, man, I'm sorry, whatever." And Neo's like, "Don't, get away from me. Get away from me.
Oh, shit.
I have nothing to say to you. You don't have the IQ to talk to me about this. You're not smart enough to comprehend." Basically saying you're not on my level intellectually.
Yeah.
And he let him have it. He told Smooth, he's like, "Look, the only reason why you're taking this win is because deep down, like in pro wrestling terms, that in the depths of your soul that you couldn't beat me. Just like you couldn't beat me back in like 2010 or 2009 or whenever it was that they played."
Yeah.
So this would have made for a very intense like first to 10, right?
Yes. This is the makings for a great.
So Neo takes the L. He takes the L, scores 1-1. They play their last match. Smooth wins. He beats Neo 2-1 with a little asterisk on the upper right hand corner, right?
Of course.
Neo goes to losers. Lockdown is the one who's catching all the heat because it was his stick, and they're like, "Man, why is your?" I mean, I'll grant that the yellow button it's pretty far away, dude. If you've ever seen the layout for the mouse,
I have.
It's pretty far away. Like you'd have to be mashing like all over the place,
yeah,
right?
To even get there, yeah.
But whatever, it happened. Locke ended up putting like a plastic covering over it, which he should have done from the beginning. So now it's no longer going to be an issue, right?
It's just.
But dude, this is why you got to have your own stick. You got to have your own equipment.
Yeah.
Only you know what to do on your equipment. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So that whole moment took up like 10, 15 minutes. And everybody's just eating it up, dude. Popcorn ready. Cell phones were out. Just, yeah, give it to me. Give me that content. Dude, but you know what? It did make for great discourse. I love discourse.
Yeah.
I love
It's in your name.
different perspectives. Say it again?
It's in your name.
Yeah. I love it, bro. Let's fucking
I agree. And
let's chop it up.
I'm the same way. And this is why me and Ken get along really well.
Dude, I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, right?
Yeah.
I don't mind admitting
Yeah.
if I'm wrong.
If I'm wrong,
If I'm wrong, That's just the way it is.
Yeah, and shout outs to Neo, man.
Shout outs to him, dude.
It's my
Great,
boy, man.
great guy.
Love doing commentary with him, and I would love to get on that again soon.
Yeah. So the tournament goes on. We did have a few highlighted moments after that, which you guys will see on Lazy Reaper's channel. If you guys haven't checked it out, make sure that you subscribe. He's editing and chopping everything up so that you guys can view it. So keep an eye out for that content. Thanks to him for streaming and recording everything, bro.
Yeah, dude.
Love
Always
that guy.
Stellar job. Thanks, Jay.
By the way, you need to work on your impression of me, dude. We were talking about how I did my impression of Jay on an episode like 2 or 3 episodes ago. And then he was on stream and I jumped on there. I'm like, hey, Jay, do an impression of me. And he's like, oh, Ken, what's that thing you say? Yeah. Like he sounded like Lil Jon. I'm like, what the hell is this, dude? It's yeah.
Yeah, it's a different inflection point.
It's got it flows. You got to just flow. Yeah.
But he went into the Lil Jon and
he
like
went into
Chappelle.
yeah. Oh my God, just stop, dude. So the tournament goes on. I make it all the way up to top 8. So when Saturday is done, Oliver Preppy's like, Ken, you're done for today. We'll see you tomorrow for top 8. And I let out this like
sigh of relief.
I made it this far. I at least made it to top 8. Live to fight another day.
Yeah.
The next day comes along. My first opponent is Josh 360.
He's actually one of your nemesis. You guys have a lot of...
Stylistically, me and Josh match up very well because Josh is a very intelligent player with great snappy execution. Yeah. He can make those split-second decisions. He has the reflexes, and he makes for a very dangerous opponent. I've lost to him many times. So it's great. It's great to play on somebody who has that level of a threat.
Yeah, and I think Josh has an uncanny ability to land a hit out of like nowhere too. Like it's just like he pulls it out of a hat. Like in scenarios that you would never think like, oh no, this is like a wrap, but he just finds a way.
And it's not just landing the hit; he can convert.
That's right, into 300%.
Death. Yeah, that's the most important part for a lot of players who can land the hit but don't do anything with it. It just pisses me off.
Touch of death.
Yeah, and this is why I love watching high level players like Sanford, Duck, and this is why I can't really tune into other streams that aren't there yet because if I'm not learning, then I can't. I don't feel like I can entertain it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, totally.
So the way that they had the main stage set up, there was like a ramp that you'd walk up to.
Yeah, it's sort of like a...
So they had a cameraman. Dude, the production was great. They had a cameraman there ready to cue you up, saying, all right, we're going to cue you up. You're going to walk up the steps slowly. Like it was a total spectacle presentation, right? So I felt like they were going to hit the entrance music and I was just going to walk up and hit my pose and kind of do my thing. And you just have fun with it.
Yeah.
And as a pro wrestling fan, bro, I love that production side of it, right? Because the viewers who are watching this, they're just like, they're chomping at the bit to see what's going to happen.
You can see the charisma come out of people too.
Yeah. So Josh, so I make my entrance, give it up for Chaos. Yeah. I walk up. Josh gets introduced. Josh walks up, and we have a brief moment where we have a stare down.
Oh, I love that.
We have a stare down, and
it's
just a brief moment to really take in what's in front of you, and that's a challenger.
Yeah,
somebody who has beaten me before and can easily take me out now. And I know that I have a tough task ahead of me. So I'm thinking, what am I going to pick against Josh? Because Josh's main team is Combo Fiend. We know that.
Yep.
But he won't use it until it's tournament time.
Yeah.
The rest of the time he's using
Iron Man,
Fat
Sentinel,
Toy,
Cable,
just
Fat Toy,
or he'll
or another variation of a different Iron Man team.
Primarily Cable teams, right? Like Iron Man, Cable, Sentinel, Storm,
Scrub sometimes.
Storm, Iron Man, Cable.
Yeah.
Something like that. So I'm thinking, I know he's going to pick Combo Fiend. I don't want to roll the dice by picking MSS.
Yeah. I think it's a hard matchup for MSS.
Because one hit,
yeah,
and it's over.
Yep.
So I said, or I thought to myself, let's go with Matrix.
You have a much easier time because Cyclops is so disruptive to Combo
It is,
Fiend.
yeah. And it's not against MSP.
It's not.
So I have a better time of stuffing the Iron Man anti-air, Sentinel rocket puncher, drones, or whatever it is. He's that shield for me, for Sentinel.
Yeah.
So I pick...
and you could see it in the gameplay, bro.
I pick Matrix, and it's a quick 2-0.
Yeah.
Granted,
Josh landed some hits, man.
He landed some hits, but he couldn't convert.
Yeah.
So you have to think, what's at play here? Is it the hardware? Is it nerves? Is it the monitor? Like what? There's a bunch of different variables to consider.
Combination of all of them, too.
But top 8 is still 2 out of 3, bro.
I cannot believe top 8 was 2 out of 3, by the way. I thought top 8 would at least be 3 out of 5.
I mean, even though I won that match against Josh, I still think that we needed more games.
Yeah.
2 out of 3 is not enough, dude.
It just felt like Josh didn't even get started.
No,
it
not at
just
all. No, not at all.
Felt like a button check.
Yeah.
It literally felt like a button check and it was over.
Absolutely. So I get past Josh.
Yeah.
And then they have to blow through the rest of the matches. So you have VDO versus Smooth Viper.
Yes.
Lockdown versus I forget who.
Locke was playing Pasadena.
Yeah, he ended up playing Pasadena. This was later on. I think he played Dantist. He played Dantist. He beat Dan. And then it was Roundhouse versus Pasadena.
Right.
And that one was intense.
I'm sorry. Who did Roundhouse play before Pasadena?
I can let you know right now.
Well, because there was a moment that I want to get to, and I wanted to know your thoughts on that too.
Stand by.
Yeah.
So Roundhouse beat Tree Fitty, and then he beat Jake, and then he beat Thrilla to get out of his pool, and then he beat Neo 2-1 to make it into top 8.
Wow.
And then and then it's him versus Pasadena. It's still 2 out of 3. Pasadena's always dangerous.
Yeah.
High IQ MSP player, right? We know who he is. But Roundhouse has a style that's just tailored to keep you out.
Yes.
Unless you know what to do with it. Like I feel like I know. I call it the recipe. I know the recipe to beat Roundhouse.
Yeah.
If you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna get.
You run into things and you get frustrated.
Yeah. And Roundhouse has progressed to the point where he can make you pay for those mistakes now.
Yeah.
And it hurts. Like the combos that he does are just flowchart basic combos, and he makes you pay.
Yeah.
So Pasadena gets gets 1 win. Roundhouse ends up beating him 2-1. Pops off, does the whole thing, gets up, goes, let's go.
Yep.
Points at me and he says, that was for you.
Yeah.
That was for you. He's like, I'll see you in grand finals. And I'm like, I give him a fist bump. And I'm like, this is a great moment.
Yeah,
like
it really was. That's what it was.
You pop off, right?
Yep.
Pasadena, I don't think I've ever seen him pop off at all. That's just his personality. But for the viewers, like you want people to tune in, right?
Yes.
That's the business side of things.
Yes.
I'm a pro wrestling fan. I understand that as a promoter, yes, you want to have, if it's combat sports, for instance, you want to have the greatest talent, but you in order to showcase that, fans have to buy the ticket. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
absolutely.
one aspect of that is how marketable you are, or how marketable you can make this.
Yeah.
So by popping off, I guess, and kind of pumping your chest, people remember that. And they might think, damn, what is this guy going to do next? You know what I mean?
Yes.
So they're more likely to tune in. Anyway, with that being said, Roundhouse moves on. I move on from Josh 360.
Correct.
And then for losers, Smooth Viper beats VDO, and then Lockdown beats Dantist. J360 beats Smooth Viper, and then Pasadena beats Lockdown in losers. So now it's J360 versus Pasadena in losers finals.
Correct.
I'm sorry, loser semis.
Oh, yes, we'll lose.
He beats Josh 2-0. So another case of, damn, was it just 2 bad matches?
You just don't
You
know.
just don't know.
Yeah, you just don't know, man.
Right?
And like I said, when you watch it, you can see the frustration on Josh's face too. Like when he's missing like some very crucial moments, man. It's painful to watch. Well, it's painful for me because like I'm a Fiend player as well. But
So you're biased.
yeah, so I'm biased here. I'm just be flat out. Fuck, and I'm like watching this. I'm like, fuck, Josh. Like, come on, man, clean it up, bro. Like,
dude. I mean, I use this example all the time. I ran a first to 10 with Smooth Viper, or first to 7. No. Yeah, first to 10.
Yeah.
And I lost like the first 5 matches against Smooth. And then I won like 10 straight.
Yeah.
So it's just, fuck, maybe you just had a brief, a bad couple games.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in this setting, it cost you the tournament.
Correct.
Right?
You don't have enough time to.
Like, bro, so I can see both sides, though.
Yeah.
I'm thinking you need more. You need more games. The other side is, well, how good are you at adapting in a short amount of games?
I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, that's the other side of the argument. Is are you good enough to implement the best game plan in just 2 games? Or
That's a
3
great
or
point.
3
I
to
never thought of
get
it
2 or
that
3
way.
games.
My stance was always, if you're as good of a player as you think you are,
Bro, so
then what does more games mean to you? It shouldn't matter. 'Cause you're
2
that
sides
good.
of the same
Yeah,
coin,
2
right?
sides, yeah.
So the conditioning that you might want to put is just do 2 out of 3s. Mind you, the collection is great. It allows you to set when you're doing a 1v1.
Uh-huh.
You can set first twos,
What kind of,
first
how
to
long a
2,
set
first
would
to
be.
3, first to 7,
Yeah.
whatever you want. And so it puts you in that mindset.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I only have 3 games to win, 5 games. And if you have the goalpost set like that, it does make a difference. As opposed to like we're playing on PS3, remember Xbox Live?
Oh, yeah.
You would just, okay, next game.
People would just like do
Bro,
one and done.
In the long run, it does make a difference. So the collection allows you to work on conditioning that way. Now, I feel like that's a great idea.
Yeah, definitely.
Going back to the tournament, Pasadena beats Josh 360 2-0. And then back to winners, it's me versus Roundhouse. Now, when I beat Josh, I pointed to Roundhouse and I said, "I'm coming for you."
Yeah, you kind of
I
gave
said,
it back
"It's
to
you."
him. Kinda
And
dished
he's
it back
like,
to-
"Oh, me." I'm like, "You."
it's a great moment too.
I'm coming for you. So
Kind of dishing it back there.
yeah, and because it's winners finals, okay, now we're in the first to 3 territory.
Yes.
Now it's 3 out of 5, and dude, I'm loving it. I love 3 out of 5 because if I have 2 bad
It's like
games, whatever, dude,
perfect.
whatever.
Yeah.
Let's steamroll and let's build some momentum. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, all right, what am I going to pick against Roundhouse? When we play on PS4, dude, I love playing against Roundhouse because so many people have trouble with him. And with me, it's like I just know what to do.
You have the blueprint.
Josh 360 has called it a speed run. When I play Roundhouse, he calls it the speed run because I'm just doing it's a task. I'm hitting all the right moves, like stuffing his assist with like a crouching jab. Everything is just perfect. So I'm when we play online, I usually pick Matrix.
Yeah.
But because it's tournament, it's MSS time.
Oh man.
So I pick MSS Rocket Punch, and I said,
Yeah.
I know what to do. I just need to catch him. I know all of his little knickknacks. Like it's okay. I just have to stay on it. I have to lock in.
Yeah, you have it all kind of mapped out.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know me, bro. When I play, I need 2 chairs.
Yes. Yes.
I need 2 chairs.
Seen that?
There was a coffee table that was there. That was there. I used it against Josh. Roundhouse used it against Pasadena. When we get up there, Roundhouse is like, "Hey, I'm using the table."
Oh.
And I'm like, "What do you mean? Just use a chair." He goes, "Oh, no. so and so said that I could use because somebody had brought the table. He's like, he said that I could use the table. And I'm like, I was thinking like, dude, I'm not gonna argue with you, man. Just take the table.
Yeah.
The reason why I preferred the table as opposed to like another chair was because these were cushioned chairs, and because my stick, stick is it's acrylic. It kind of shifts.
Yeah.
It's not heavy. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's very light. So I wanted something stable. I wanted to use the table, but whatever advantage you can get, right?
Right. That's the kind of, I think you're used to that over the years. There's always something that people kind of like try to get an edge on you.
You son of a bitch.
It's always like, dude, it's like, can you just not blame me?
You want
like,
the table? Take the table.
God like a JR impression.
Take the goddamn table. Oh no, that's Vince McMahon. You're fired.
Yeah.
So we set up, right? Here's another funny thing that happened. When we do button checks, I like to do quick motion checks also.
Okay.
So you check your jab, you check your fierce, assist 1, short, roundhouse, assist 2.
Yep.
I tagged in sentinel and I started practicing reflies.
Mm-hmm.
Roundhouse immediately. All right, we're good. Okay, we're good. Restarts it, so I get no like motion practice.
There's these little things that people do.
Exactly.
Man. They're just mind games.
I'm like, all right, cool, man. Whatever. Like all these outside variables, right?
Obviously, as a player, we're onto this, right? And like Ken is more of like just, all right, like just stoic about it.
Yeah. All right,
no
man.
reaction.
Right, whatever you want.
Yeah, whatever you want, man.
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever you feel, makes you more comfortable there.
All right. So match 1 starts.
Okay.
And I'm already all over him. Everything is coming out crisp. It's perfect. He ends up killing my Magneto, and I ended up I had my Sentinel on point against his Sentinel on point.
Yeah.
And he picked Storm vertical Typhoon assist. Yes. She was already dead, or she had 1 pixel left. I dash in and I launch her.
And kill her.
She dies. Yeah. So now it's my Sentinel and my Storm against his solo Sentinel. And there's a moment there where he does like hyper Sentinel force, or he was in the air and he stomped me, and I blocked.
Okay.
And in that split second, I felt like, you know what, dude, there's no threat here. And so I did one of these, like the Rock, like just bring it.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, bring it.
Yeah.
And I went in there and I just went into flight mode. I stayed away from him. I did a little bit of air taunting right here. Neil actually called it out like, oh, a little bit of swag here.
Yeah. Yep.
But that's just like the spectacle portion of it, right? Everybody was like, oh, what's going on here? Yeah. Whatever. I finished him off. I smacked. I did like a clap, and I said, let's fucking go.
Yep. Popped off already on that
baby.
First match.
I was hamming it up to the crowd.
Yeah.
Like, come on, guys, get louder. Let me hear it.
Yeah.
Like I'm a cheerleader or something. Come on, guys, let me hear you. But that's the mind game portion, right?
Yes.
And now Roundhouse is very composed. So he loves that. That's like his area. So I knew that it's just friendly banter, right? So I'm like, let's fucking go, baby. And then match 2 starts, and then I get another win. So now it's 2-0. And I said something along the lines of like the recipe is here in Washington.
Oh.
The recipe's here in Washington, baby. And Roundhouse is like, oh, that's how you feel? That's how you feel? And I'm like, shit. And I said it out loud. I'm like, shit, dude, I can't lose now because then I'm never going to hear the end of it.
Yeah. You got to finish it off, too.
And then match 3 is in the books. 3-0.
Very nice.
So you see me, like, I mean, I patted Roundhouse on the shoulder. Good games. I don't want to rub it in or anything like that. It was good games. I get up. But you can see me. I go, yep. Kind of like
an acknowledgement of just
there was no way I was going to lose that one.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a brief.
This is the match. I'm sorry. One of the matches where you snap. I don't know who it was you snapped at, but you snapped in his Sentinel, and you went for a basically a guard break that's like covering all bases, right? You did a check short air dash down with fierce to land fast to see what he does. He's either going to push block in the air or he just starts falling, and you immediately recognize, because we have to have like, good reflexes there. Immediately recognize that he didn't press anything yet, so you immediately go up and short a roundhouse and air dash down and guard break him, and you just nodded. You had like this nod where like
I did, yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Like I knew it, and you're just like, this is a wrap.
This is a wrap, yeah. Now there were still some input errors on my end.
Okay.
I don't know what it was because I was missing a few Hypergraph Tempest inputs. Storm Lightning Attack into Super didn't come out.
Interesting. Okay.
And I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't know if it was just me. I didn't feel nervous.
Just playing normally, and you were
yeah.
like,
And I'm like, what
weird.
the? You
Why
can
did
see
I
me
miss
like,
that?
what the fuck is that? Hey, I can fix this. But I win. I get up. I go, yep. And there's a brief moment where I'm doing a little bit of self-reflection, and I realize that I'm in the exact same spot that I was in last year. I'm in grand finals, and I'm waiting to see who I'm going to play. So now it's time for losers finals.
Yeah.
And it's Pasadena versus Roundhouse again.
Yeah. Running it back.
They run it back. Roundhouse had the momentum, right?
Yeah.
Not this time. Pasadena wins 3-0. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching and I'm thinking, okay, we're back.
The old nemesis.
We're back.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this about Dina, okay? Pasadena is a great, amazing player.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing. IQ off the charts.
Yep.
His Magneto is amazing.
Very intelligent Magneto, bro.
Yeah.
Very intelligent.
He's evolved into a 300% one-hit kill MSP. Picks his spots well, knows how to move around, anti-air assist. Great. He lives for that.
Yeah.
What I feel, and I think I've said this before, is that him and I won't play unless it's in tournament or unless I ask him to play. Like we can be in the same venue, like at a session or something like that, and we won't play unless I ask him to play. And I feel like it's in his favor not to play me unless it's in tournament, because the more I play against you,
the more, like you start to adjust to that.
Yeah, that's just how I'm built.
Yeah. Love it.
That's just how I'm built. The longer we play, the longer I'm exposed to you, the more I
feel the same way.
The more it's like my powers.
Yeah, I love it. It for me, it just gets better.
I'm just absorbing all the
you.
intel,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So playing against somebody like that in a 2 out of 3 setting it's dangerous.
Yeah, it really is.
If you don't know, if you're not in tune with the person's tendencies or what they, or if you just have an idea and then they switch it up on the fly,
yeah,
or maybe they picked up on something new, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what was going through my mind. Like, okay, we're back. It's grand finals. I'm on the winner's side again. Pasadena is in losers. What happened last year? Last year it was 3-1. He reset the bracket, and then he beat me that second set.
Yeah.
I picked Matrix the whole time, except for the last match. I picked Thrax. And I was on that character select screen for a while, debating on whether to pick Matrix or to pick Santhrax.
Yep.
And the only reason I picked Thrax was because we had ran a first to 10 that I asked for. Let's run a first to 10, and I beat him 10-9. Thrax versus MSP. And I thought to myself, okay, it can be done.
Yeah.
And that's why I picked Thrax. Did it end up biting me in the ass? Fuck yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Everybody, you know what everybody was telling me? Why didn't you pick MSS? Why do you think I didn't pick MSS?
Well, it's quite a bit, but in terms of the interactions that you get with MSP and knowing how Dina plays against you, especially MSS, what he tends to do is if he lands a hit, he will snap in Sentinel. and get rid of him. Almost every time, bro.
Yeah, he has a plan.
He has the plan, and
Yeah.
that is the plan. You snap it, you land a hit. You don't necessarily kill the point character. You snap in Sentinel, get rid of that. That's sort of like the heart of the team. And then he just has to deal with a Magneto Storm shell, which is much, in my opinion, is one of the weaker shells.
Now, let's go in reverse.
Okay.
What happens if I get the first hit?
If you get the first hit, you typically... It's hard because you either will kill Magnus or you will snap in and get rid of Psylocke, which I think most of the time you go ahead.
What happens when Psylocke is out of the picture?
Same thing for him.
Same thing for him.
Yeah.
So
It's much less of a threat.
So while we're waiting for grand finals to be underway, this is it. I'm thinking about all of these things.
Yes.
All the scenarios that we're talking about, reflecting on what happened last year, the feelings that I had and feeling like, damn, dude, I got smoked. I lost. Okay, I know what I'm going to do. We set up for grand finals. I tell Daryl, I'm like, hey, here we go again, right?
Yeah.
He sits down, I sit down, we do a button check. Okay, it's time. Character select screen. He picks MSP. I pick MSS Rocket Punch.
Yeah.
And I think, no Matrix this time. No Thrax. I'm going to pick my shit.
Yeah.
Now, we didn't talk about this at all. But the last few times that Dina and I have played against each other, we don't bump chests at the beginning. We do a full screen start.
Yeah. The commentators also noted that as well, and they definitely made the audience know about it.
Some people like it, some people don't.
Yeah.
The reason why we do that is to eliminate the roll of the dice in the beginning.
Yes, of course.
Because we've already talked about the plan. Pasadena's plan to snap in Sentinel, maybe get a double snap, and then just 200% the other two characters.
Yeah.
And then there's my side. Maybe get a double snap in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Eliminate eliminate Psylocke, snap her in, kill her, couple of wake up sequences, and then kill the other two characters with a DHC.
Yeah.
Unblockable laser on Magneto. Done.
Yep.
The only way that we can do that game plan is if we land that clean hit.
Correct.
If we start off chest to chest in the beginning, we're rolling the dice every single time.
Correct.
So to eliminate that factor, we started full screen. And then, match starts. And then let's see who's going to fish for that clean hit.
That's right. Who wins the neutral.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pasadena wins game 1. And I'm thinking, fuck, dude, here we go again.
Yeah. At least this time, coming from winners, you still have some leeway. You have some time as opposed to coming on his side from losers.
He wins the first match. I've seen the chat replay. Everybody's eating it up.
Yeah. Like,
saying that MSP is my demon and whatnot.
Yep.
And then I win 3 straight. No bracket reset.
Nothing.
I didn't go for anything crazy.
Definitive.
I didn't go for anything crazy. Just finished.
Yeah.
And that was it. So to put it into perspective, what if it would have been a first to 10? Did I just have 3 clean matches?
Yeah.
He won the first one.
And
then he just lost 3. Who's to say that maybe he would have won? We're speculating at this point.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
We're speculating,
this is very hard to.
But it is a possible outcome. It's just one of those things. This time around, I was able to win with MSS, which people would say is the counter pick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which MSP is the counter pick.
Yeah,
to MSS.
Absolutely.
So it was a win-win. I was able to win against arguably one of my greatest opponents in Pasadena. It's always great playing against him. And then the unfavorable matchup.
Yeah.
Win-win.
Yeah.
I won the title. It's done. Undisputed. we're good to go.
Was there a sense of relief that you
Oh
felt?
yeah, absolutely. As soon as I won,
Yeah.
dude, I got up. Everybody was clapping. It was loud in there, and I just did. You can just see me go like I gritted my fists, and I just said yes.
I'm back on the top of the mountain again.
It's a crazy feeling, man.
Yeah.
Because I've won a lot of tournaments, but
Yeah.
whenever you win a fresh one, a recent one, it kind of cements your status. Like I still have some juice,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, absolutely, man. It must feel incredible. I know a lot of us can't experience that, but
Dude.
just to see it on display is great.
Well, the tournament experience in general is amazing. Even if you don't expect to win the whole thing, it's a great feeling, man. It's not as hostile as it used to be. It's a lot more inclusive now.
Yeah.
But we did at Fight Kingdom. I won. We did the award ceremony, and then it was just time to chill, dude. Knocked back some drinks, got some more games in. Even though I had a flight the next day, I had to be up at like 3 a.m.
Oh, shit.
Oh, it was brutal, but a great experience, man. I was very fortunate to be a part of it. I'm really happy with how I did, and a lot of great moments, dude.
Yeah.
Like the Neo Smooth Viper, it kind of set the stage for them to do a set in the future.
And I cannot wait for that.
I'd love to see Math versus Roundhouse in a long set.
Yeah, same here.
There's a lot of matchups that you can make, right?
Yeah.
So we're back, dude. We're back. It's just what an experience, bro. And
unreal, man.
And we learned a lot. We learned a lot from what it takes to participate.
Adversity too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to participate in a tournament setting that has the new consoles, the PS4s.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is a change that we're going through, where the Dreamcast is being fizzled out.
Yeah.
And it was a great era. We were moving into the rematch mod and the new version of Marvel 2, all of these great projects. It is kind of a bittersweet feeling knowing that that's kind of been put on the back burner, maybe indefinitely, who knows? Because now we're moving on to the new stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not perfect by any means. Now you can play on the Abyss stage, and the Abyss stage changes.
Oh,
whenever a character dies, it shifts into the next.
The next,
from regular to green to red.
Yeah, to the red with the sphere.
Yeah, but it's glitched.
Crazy.
It's glitched also. So if you kill a character, for example, let's say Spiral.
Okay.
Is doing spiral swords and she kills the character, whatever amount of swords that she has on her at the moment, that's the only amount that she can generate afterwards.
Oh.
So in one example, Duck killed a character with spiral swords and he only had 2 left. And so after that, he could only generate 2 swords. So instead of the full circle, it was just horrible. 2. There was another video where Cable did Air Hyper Viper Beam and he killed a character. The screen shifted and then the Air Hyper Viper Beam disappeared. So whenever he would do the super, it wouldn't come out anymore. So there's nothing to block, nothing. So it's not perfect. So now one of the new tournament rules that we implemented at Fight Kingdom was no Abyss stage.
Yeah, no Abyss stage. It absolutely cannot happen.
So these are things that we're learning little by little, It'll get better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll patch that out. But it's going to take some time.
We'll see, man. We'll see. So what's next? Now that Fight Kingdom is done, there's Evo that's coming up, right? Which I'm sure we'll get into at a later episode before we get there. But there is one thing that I do want to talk about, and that is this upcoming Saturday is going to be South Bay Mashers tournament at Arcade Shock. Your boys, the Omega Elite. That's me, Math, Daryl, World Matchu. We're teaming up once again with Arcade Shock to bring you a tournament once again. If you guys have been to the last few that we've done, you guys know they're bangers.
It was incredible, man.
You guys know that it's top tier competition. Everything is run smoothly. It's a great venue. There's going to be some great food, vendors, merchandise for you guys to buy. Arcade Shock is going to be on site, so if you need to get your
stick fixed or you need upgrade on buttons or anything like that,
or even just to get it looked at. If you're not sure, that's something, maybe something could be a little bit better.
Extremely helpful and
Dude,
hospitable, man.
These guys are amazing.
Great people.
Make sure that you guys check them out.
Yeah, give them your business, guys.
Yeah. So if you guys are in the area, or if you're flying in, if you're just in SoCal in general, drop by and check it out. That's at 227 East Compton Boulevard in Gardena. It does happen to be my birthday weekend, so make sure you guys drop by,
Get lit, man.
hang out with your boy, celebrate. We're gonna watch this top tier Marvel tournament. Starts at 2. I'm gonna drop the link below in the description for the start.gg link so that you guys can sign up. It's going to be a $15 venue fee. That's 15, and then the pot is $10. So if you guys are looking to enter a tournament, and it's just for Marvel 2, then you're looking at about $25. There's going to be a tournament for Samurai Showdown, Third Strike, Fatal Fury, CVS 2, and then KOF 15. In case you guys want to enter those, it's going to be nuts, man. Make sure that you guys drop by. General Thriller will be streaming, so I'll be sure to drop the link for that as well. Your boy Daryl, World Matchu, and myself, we're going to be holding it down on commentary. Ivan, I think you might be joining us.
I will be joining you guys.
Joining us too, so Ivan will be there as well, so you guys can listen to his majestic voice.
Thanks, guys.
And it's going to be crazy, dude. The other thing, because it's not just a tournament, we have a very special
drum roll, please.
Sequence of events coming down for that event. Now, if you guys have been playing online for the past, I would say past year or so, you know about Animated Nick. Now, Animated Nick has been creating waves in the past year or so, calling people out, causing a lot of ruckus, a lot of controversy, and he's going to be in town to participate in the tournament and have a few exhibitions. All right. Now, here's a little preview of the card that we have.
Yep.
We're going to have Servbot, who was our last Arcade Shock champion.
Yep.
Take on Lockdown. They're going to do a first 10.
Oh, that's going to be fire.
Bro, stylistically, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Servbot has gotten a lot better over the years.
Oh, yeah.
And the Lock is always dangerous.
Yeah.
So to see them two, like an MSP, or maybe he'll go Rotron, who knows, versus Lock, that's going to be ridiculous. You know, emotions are going to run high. Tensions are going to be on edge. And you guys better get your side bets ready, okay? Gamer Jim from the East Coast is coming down.
Wow.
MSP player, Psylocke enthusiast. He's gonna be coming in, and to welcome him in our first 7 is gonna be Kung Fu Joe.
Oh, Joey's gonna play him?
Joey Ball is gonna play him.
Goodness.
Now, Joe, for me, I feel he's become the new gatekeeper. Like, if you want to be a part of this, if you feel like you're good enough, you got to get past me first.
Yeah.
If you want to call yourself at least a decent Marvel 2 player.
Yeah.
So Joe's going to be there to welcome him. I'm very interested to see, because Jim, he's actually progressed a lot. I played him at Fight Kingdom, and he knows what he's doing. So Joe, you better watch out, man. Joe versus Jim.
It's coming for him, man.
So we have
That's
that.
exciting.
We have that in the books. And then our main event is going to be Animated Nick versus Random Rudy.
Oh,
a
Rudy.
$1,000 exhibition.
Wow. Well, we know Rudy doesn't play with that, with like money, so he's gonna put it up.
We'll see, dude. We'll see what's going to happen, because remember, Nick is a pad player that uses macros.
Yeah, I mean, you told me about that, and I had my.
Well, how do you feel? How do you feel about one button dash or one button refly?
No, I don't think they should be part of the game. I think what makes this game so beautiful in a way is the execution that you need. And by you having macros, it feels sort of like you're just cheapening your wins. So that's my opinion, right? Like, I don't know. Can't speak for everybody, but
yeah,
it's what it is.
It's subjective to your opinion, right?
Yeah.
Now, the developers included that in the button mapping.
Yeah, they did. Yes.
So I guess you can make an argument that if it wasn't in there, but you found a way to rig your controller to do it, then it would be a case of, okay, well, you can't do that.
Yeah.
But because the developers included it in there, it's kind of like, well, it's a game feature. But then you have to go back to, okay, well, what about the Juggernaut glitch?
Yeah.
How come that's not allowed?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like, why are we picking and choosing?
Exactly.
There's
no universal.
no consistency around.
Yeah, no universal rule set or something like
or
that.
Standard.
Yeah, but we're trying to be more inclusive. It is going to be allowed, and I think they're going to play on Steam.
Okay.
As opposed to PS4. Nick is a Steam player for the most part. I don't think I've ever seen him play on PS4. But the side bets are going to be crazy with that set. People are going to get loud. All the Alex's Arcade guys are going to be there.
Yes.
There's going to be a ruckus afoot. And
With AA being in there.
I'm all for it.
Yeah. It's going to be exciting, man.
And who knows? I think Nick might play a couple other guys if they're in the vicinity. We're waiting to get more confirmation on that. But you guys don't want to miss it. I'll post the link so you guys can sign up. There is a $500 bonus pot guaranteed for this tournament. So that's going to be extra money for you guys to take home if you do make it. And we'll be streaming the whole thing. And running the bracket, make sure that everything goes smooth. You know how your boys do. We always make sure that everything is locked in, that it's impeccable. And it's going to be a good time. It's my birthday too.
Hell yeah, man.
Dude, come down and kick it with your boy, bro.
It's going to be amazing. It's going to be an amazing time, guys.
The fuck are you thinking otherwise, man? Jesus Christ. Ivan, you got anything else for us?
No, man. I mean, just excited for next weekend, guys. Please come out, show us some support. And if you can't make it, it's fine. Join us on the stream and let your voice be heard. If you guys have any additional comments you'd like to make, maybe suggestions, feel free to let us know. We love the feedback as always. But yeah, man, it's always a great time being here.
It's season 3, episode 1. Let me know who you guys want to see as future guests on the podcast. We do have a couple of names in mind.
Yep.
We're trying to work out the details and kind of get everything into fruition. If you don't go to the tournament or if you don't watch, then that's fine. Like Ivan said, just be prepared to get unfriended by me because I want nothing to do with you. No, I'm just kidding. Love you guys. That's all we have for you today. Thank you for tuning in. We will catch you guys this Saturday at Arcade Shock South Bay Masher Series. And like always, stay healthy, stay safe, and stay mashing. Peace out.
See you later, guys. We'll see you next week.